Hey, what's up? This is new episode of The Tennis Inspector and I'm in San Jose, California. Please bring your notebooks as today I have a discussion with high performance coach of Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka and Sloan. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. You can expect a lot of motivation and insights into professional tennis tour. This interview is gonna be split into two parts, and at the end of the second part I'm gonna announce giveaway winners of prior episodes. Stay tuned and please welcome Abdul Sillah.
My approach was trying to build the football mentality that I had. I'm in this because I genuinely care to see them achieve their goal. If you're bleeding, I'm bleeding. If you're crying, I'm crying. You're not doing it by yourself. Most of these folks are not athletic and they don't consider fitness as important. Okay, here's the ball. You can win a Grand Slam. There's no reason for me not to be able to win. Heck, Kenan won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, Kenan has no power. You could be as talented as you want. If you're not teachable, you can't do anything. If I take an athlete, an athletic person, and take them from here and put them in the tennis world, they're going to dominate. So if we go on the guy's side, they need to stay in shape. Why? Because they have to play 5 sets. Focus on the little things.
Yeah.
Celebrate the little victories, but do not be satisfied with them.
Thank you so much for finding some time to talk about tennis and specifically fitness and the mental side of tennis. Can you share how you got into sports? I know that you are a former athlete.
Yes, but first and foremost, my pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to come out here and talk to me about your passion. As a child, I was always into sports, and I followed my mom's footsteps because she was a track athlete, and she started me at a young age. When she started training, I just went out there with her, and it went on from there, and I was just an athlete, and I felt that way.
Were you into any specific sports?
Yes, track and football.
I know that you were injured and you stopped playing professional sports. So do you remember that day?
Specifically, it was on a Saturday morning. It was like a scrimmage. It was right before we had a game the very next week. So this is what we're setting. And there was a running back. American football, there's a running back coming on the opposite side. So I went there and tried and just hit him as hard as I possibly can. So when I got there, I was out of control. I didn't position myself right, so his knee cut my head. The next thing I know, I woke up, a few minutes later with a bunch of people around me.
How you transformed it into the fitness coaching career?
It wasn't something that I was actually thinking about. Right? A lot of folks used to ask if they could come join me on the off season. And they used to join my off season program, and it was fun having people around and just pushing each other and having fun. And so after this happened to me, a few of them asked me if I could do the same, if I could continue doing it with them. Then it was a hard decision because at the time I was very angry because not all of a sudden my goal of being the best in the sports that I wanted to actually really succeed in ended, right? Yeah. So, but I decided to do it anyway, and my friend ended up winning a championship. Just watching him out there playing told me give me a different sort of feeling, like a feeling I've never felt before. And for me, because of that, I started saying maybe this is my calling.
One of the interviews you said that you believe that for anyone to become a champion, not a winner, but a champion mentally, they have to be prepared better than anybody else. So how do you work with players on their mentality? I know that's a broad topic, but specifically with tennis players such as Serena, such as Naomi, Sloan.
Yes, so you have to build them from inside out. First, you have to come in and have an understanding of what's been going on. Like, why have they not achieve their goal and achieve the highest potential. I mean, on my part, Serena already had done so many great things. So my approach was trying to build that football mentality that I had, because she was one of my first top athletes also, and like putting her through rigorous training to see how she reacts, something that she's never seen before, and something that she's never done before. So, and you know, she handled it very well, and she went on ahead and started. I mean, she picked it up fast and built from there. So from there, it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Right, on how to approach everybody else, is building their confidence with positivity and making them believe that they can achieve whatever is in front of them, and putting them through work that they've never done before. I mean, I want them to feel like they're dying, first and foremost, because only then are they going to understand this is where the pain is. On court is fun, right? So that's how you go through that, and you push them, but you start gradually and building them to that level, gradually building them to that point.
Yeah.
And once you get someone to that point, it's like the only thing you can do is tell them, you know, when they see any obstacle, their belief is that they can overcome it. If you say touch the sky, whether you know they can touch it or not in their head, that's all they know.
Right.
It's how am I going to touch it? I'm going to find a way to touch it.
Yeah.
So that's how you build and create that positivity with hard work and encouragement, and not criticizing. I believe if you actually think about this, right? If you said this is your goal, you get to a certain point, you're making this amount of money. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put this amount of money and get me someone that's going to help me achieve this. Because with this, if I can sacrifice this amount of money, it means I'm going to make more.
Yeah.
LeBron spent about $1 million on this fitness.
Do you think that the role of fitness coach is becoming more important in tennis?
It is becoming important, but even before we get there, I think the role of coaching take too much of a higher standard next to fitness coaching, right? Especially what I do. I mean, I'm not really a fitness coach. I'm more of a high performance coach, which basically means I need to just get you about 5% better. So basically I develop just specific drills, original organic drills just for this individual, seeing their weaknesses, their tendencies, and correcting it. But before you even get there, I need to correct what is in their head. Because like when you go to all these players, they've been hitting the ball the same way. They've seen every single ball that you can see. They've hit the ball on every part of the court that you can do. They're not giving enough credit. I mean, yeah, is this maybe part of it is my fault because I choose to stay in the shadows, and different roles get the publicity. But if you look at it, these people have to keep the athlete in shape. They got to keep them healthy. And the coach literally have to just, work on feeding the ball and little technical stuff here and there.
Yeah.
So I think it has come to the point now that high performance coaching has a significant role. In order for you to actually win Grand Slams and win any of this championship, you got to have a high performance coach.
What were the difficulties working with such players as Naomi Osaka, Serena, Sloan?
I was blessed. I say more than most. There was never a difficulty. I never had no problem with them or asking them to do something that they didn't want to do, right? So it made my job easier, and we pushed because of that. And of course I had to earn their trust and confidence.
Right.
Once I earned that, and they know genuinely I actually care I'm not just in this to be for the business side. I'm in this because I genuinely care to see them achieve their goal, right? And it made everything easier. It made our relationship, good. That's why we have relationship even till now with everybody.
How to win this trust?
Most people go into this business for the wrong reasons. They go into the business for money.
Yeah.
I go into the business for the human being. I mean, I know what happened to me, so because of that, I'm a little bit different from the norm, right? I want to see people actually achieve, because if they achieve, I achieve. Everything else falls into place after that, and the passion is what drives me. Is not the money, because the money is always going to come. You can get all the money in the world, but if you don't have passion for what, it's going to die. But the passion is what drives me, and they see that, and they believe in that, and that's what drives them. Because there's nothing that I'm going to ask you to do that I haven't put myself through, that I will not put myself through.
Yeah.
If I say let's go running, I'm not going to ask you to go running. We're going to wake up at 5 in the morning. We're going to go running together. This is the passion. So if you're bleeding, I'm bleeding. If you're crying, I'm crying. You're not doing it by yourself. Always important. And we don't trust our footing. Most of the time, that's what we came to push forward. We empower. Right? So if I'm here, if I'm doing it full speed, so see that?
Yeah.
It means I'm coming here, I'm here, boom, boom, boom. I'm always thinking about going forward. So that's what this is.
Yeah.
How do I get my player to get that first step? When you're on the court, you don't want to overthink, right? And when you're here, I don't want you to overthink.
Right.
And I just want you to slow it down in your head, see the picture, and see exactly what the foot is doing.
Right.
Right? And so I like doing these type of drills when you're really, really tired. Because that's how I train the mind to be focused. Right. When you're tired, what's the first thing that goes? This goes. Then the form, everything that they touch in the world goes out the door. You're just in survival mode.
Yeah.
So the best way I feel, how do we train the mind to learn how to focus when you're tired, is that's when you want to be at your sharpest. It's when we finish training, I do some of the hardest stuff that's going to be messing up with your mind.
Yeah.
Even though you know how to do it, when you're tired, it becomes a little more difficult because you start breaking form, you start overthinking, and then that's when I'm going to let you know to start training the mind to refocus.
Right. Yeah.
To slow things down.
I think that many tennis players do underestimate the fitness condition and high performance condition of them. And do you think that's the case?
Yes.
What you see?
That's the case because I think watching and studying the sport itself, from where I come from Mr. Williams, Richard Williams school, right? So I was taught, he mentored me, and I was taught to be revolutionary. See things before they happen. Create a lane that you want everybody else to walk in, right? And to me, that's really how I see things. Like when I came to tennis, especially this latter part, I chose to be revolutionary, like he taught me, and make the sports a lot more athletic. Because the sports, especially on the women's side, most of these folks are not athletic, and they don't consider fitness as important.
Yeah.
So my job was to create the super athlete that I can create, that will be more athletic, and that will force everyone to think about hiring a high performance coach that's going to help them do the same thing. Because if you're not in shape, if you don't have high performance coach, you're not even going to be in the category.
Do you think that it is important to show players limits, or you think that there are no limits for a player's body or for anyone?
There's no limit I can never put a limit on a human being. Yeah. Because who am I? I didn't create them, right? The human body can take so much. It's limitless. We don't know how much the human body can take. We don't even know what we can put the human body through. So to me, our mind is the one that restricts us. So if we can develop an open mind and create that overflowing cup,
Mm-hmm.
infinity cup, and only then would you know that, there's no limit to anything. There's no limit to your body. There's no limit to the suffering,
Yeah.
what you are able to endure.
But as a coach, do you need to see these limits? And I obviously think you can see them.
As a coach, you can see where they put the limit on themselves.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to open that gate
Mhm.
and get rid of that wall
Yeah.
and make sure that they don't see any limit.
Yeah.
Because there's no limit. You can win a Grand Slam. There's no reason for me not to be able to win. Heck, Kenan won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, Kenan has no power,
Yeah.
right? But then you have to understand how did Kenan do this, right? And does she have like the typical person that wins Grand Slams, has this, has that, right? But she has tenacity.
Yeah.
She just don't believe in, that you're gonna outwork her.
Basically, you are saying that there is nothing but the right approach and the hard work.
Yes.
So, do you mean that talent doesn't play as a very significant role in being a top tennis player, let's say?
No, there's no. If I take, like for instance, people say, oh, this person has good hands, this person has this person has that. Okay, that's great. If I take an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
an athletic person, and take them from here and put them in the tennis world,
Yeah.
they're gonna dominate.
That's about mindset,
That's about mindset.
champion thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And like my approach, I don't think there's anyone in this world I cannot help to see their goal and achieve their goal. I don't think there's anybody in this world that I cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't have limit. I just don't believe that there's anyone that cannot win.
Yeah.
That there's anyone that cannot be a champion. Like you have some coaches that will choose and say, you know what, they're only going to cherry pick and pick the right people that they think are going to win because the person is already done. They're already there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to polish their resume, they're going to just do this and make themselves look good. And for me, I like starting from the bottom because I believe my philosophy and what I do is about building from bottom up. What good is it to me if I take someone that already won a championship, someone that already been developed and work with them? It's not showing anything, right? But if you can build somebody's foundation and make them believe this, it means long after you're gone, they're still gonna be doing the same thing. They're still gonna be winning.
Yeah. And I think also Novak Djokovic once said that the limitations are in your mind.
Yes.
And once you start using your imagination, there is no limits.
No.
And you can achieve anything you want.
Exactly. And that's I couldn't have even said it better than that. But we create that. We do that. That's what we're just talking about, like kids in Belarus.
Yeah.
They already gave them a ceiling. This is as far as you can go. So because of that, they don't have the mindset to look beyond that ceiling, that there's a sky
Yeah.
that they can touch also, right? So imagine if these kids, as juniors, these kids are the best juniors around in the world. But then you go from there, they're done,
Yeah.
right? And so they put limit on them. Their mind don't see anything beyond.
What differentiates these top players like Serena, Naomi Osaka, Sloan Stevens from other players?
Humbleness, teachability. Because you remember we're talking about talent.
Yeah.
You could be as talented as you want. If you're not teachable, you can't do anything. Look at what is there that anybody's going to teach Serena, Federer, Djokovic, or Nadal. Honestly, what is there that they're going to teach them that they haven't seen before?
Yeah. Don't you think that this teachability is equal to talent, no?
No. It is humility.
Mm-hmm.
That's what allows you to be teachable. You've seen a lot of people that they say, quote unquote, are talented. Like, I don't want to say any names, but there's a lot of them that we've seen that's supposedly talented, but they can't do anything because what? they refuse to listen. They don't have humility. They have ego instead. So because of this ego that they have, they're not teachable because they think they know more than the other person that they're hiring and paying to help them, to guide them. A championship mentality is the teachability. Because you got to be humble. No, don't get me wrong. You have to have a little bit of arrogance. But not arrogance the way you want to use it. A little bit of it is good. Because you can't, without arrogance, you can't be a champion.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a little bit of that, but you have to have more of a humility than arrogance.
Yeah.
If I just get in here, I mean, of course, I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
But if I just get in here and just don't think, if I get the pattern, it's a pattern, right? If I get the pattern and I just keep going with the pattern without thinking, it goes, right? It's like, okay, boom. Because I'm always thinking, position yourself for the next thing, position yourself for the next shot, position yourself for your next move. That's all. So I'm here, right? And then what I want you, the reason I throw the ball to you, you are never going to hit the ball. You are never going to be over there looking somewhere else or looking at your feet where you're hitting the ball. Right? You got to see everything.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing the ball to you, teaching you how to see everything, the whole court.
Was it right there? What do you think specifically women's tour lacks in terms of fitness?
Athleticism is one, and mindset, attitude. This attitude, like they can just wake up and play tennis. They can just wake up and hit the ball and it's okay, and they're gonna win something. If we go on the guy side, they need to stay in shape. Why? Because they have to play 5 sets. Because that 5-setter, separates everybody. Yeah. That's why you have the top 100, you have the top 50, you have the top 25, then you have the top 20, top 15, and then you have the top 3 or the top 4. Yeah. It's a different type of mentality. You got to have different type of shape you need to be in, physically and mentally. Right? And this is what the women's game lack. Yeah. Because playing an hour and a half to 2 hours is nothing. When you have to play 3 hours out there every day, day in and day out, grinding it out, it's going to force you to want to be in shape. Okay, here's the ball. Because when you hit the ball, you got to be able to move back. You got to be able, especially like someone like Serena, Naomi, any competitive, all these girls serve heavy, right? So, but that ball is going to come back heavier. So you got to be quick. You got to be quick, moving back to take that ball, right? Or getting down to take that ball. This is the initial start for me to get these type of things going. Is how to be light and be quick, land and go, land and go. Limited ear to ground contact time, minimum, right? So if I go here, boom, boom, boom.
When I played the junior and pro circuit,
yes,
I had a struggle that when I faced someone who is top seeded, I approached him in a way that I may lose, which is not a champion thinking, I know, and I realized it a little bit later in my career and in my life. And the opposite was with players who were from qualifying, who came from qualifying. So I for sure knew that I'm gonna win. And if something went wrong, I had a struggle. How do you need to approach these matches in terms of your mindset? Do you need to have any expectations from this match, or you need to go on the match without any expectation and just to play your best tennis?
My thing is, if you believe in you, the expectation you're putting on yourself is because you're looking across the net. It is always you against you. It's the paradox that's supposed to drive you. Yeah. Right? And if you're looking at the next person, you already know the stats, you already know this, so you're already creating the demon in your head that should not be there. Whether this person is less than you or whether this person is better than you. You already created that monster. So now that pressure is already on. But if you go against you, which is already the reality, there'll be nothing there, because all you got to do is be better than you. Is be better than what you played the last time.
Yeah.
Just a little bit better, 5% better, right? And it's not about the winning, it's about the progress. Sometimes you're gonna win, sometimes you're gonna lose. Like we had a match that we lost, and I said, this is the best match you've played. Why? You lost, right? But you didn't give up. You put in everything you had. You worked and worked.
Yeah.
You might not have won, but now you know what it takes to actually win, because you lost, even though you gave all you got.
Yeah.
So that is what landed here, and because of that, we end up winning a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Right? Because I said the next time you're gonna win it. You're gonna win the next battle that you face. That's gonna be like this, because you've been now. You got into the deep water. Now you know. You don't just gonna go through the motion.
Accepting losses is a very important thing in all sports.
Yes.
So how you accept the loss and how you transform it into the future success is a crucial thing.
It is.
So what would be your recommendation on how to accept losses?
Losses are part of the game. Mistakes are part of the game. You know, it's a storm. Nothing lasts forever. Now there's a thing that you can evaluate. Okay? Not to put pressure on yourself, or not to talk down on yourself, not to put yourself down. You can evaluate, and by evaluating, you learn from your experience. You look at it and say, okay, I got better here. It's not about what you did wrong, it's what you did right.
Yeah.
Right? If we focus on what we did right instead of what we've done wrong, we're always going to grow. But if we focus on 99.9% of the time, people focus on what they've done wrong. And by doing this, it's like they get into this mode where in mentality like they're not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? But if you go over there and say, well, I've done this, it means you improve. Focus on the little things.
Yeah.
Celebrate the little victories, but do not be satisfied with them.